Alright, we're gonna try this. It's gonna be a little random. This is just my first time doing this, so who knows what will happen. But essentially, I'm gonna make some music for a certain amount of time, fully unedited. We're gonna try some things, experiment, learn along the way, and if I care about making this into a series or something, then I'll do that. But at the moment, we're just gonna learn some stuff. We're gonna try random things. So, first things first, I guess. Let me show you guys something I was working on, because it's kind of interesting. This thing I worked on, I've been learning a lot about music recently, just in general, not necessarily recently, but what I have been learning is that I really like doing creative things, so trying stuff that isn't normally done, and this is one of those projects where I did that. So what I did first was I took a image file and I put it into a website. I don't remember the exact name, but it's like some spectrogram thing, and it turned it into an audio file, which if I go back to here, I think I can demo this better. So I had this audio file here, and I basically was recording it out using some effects. I applied effects to it. I don't think the original one, because I removed it. I don't have the original one, but let me just play this so you can hear it. So, let me describe exactly what this is. So, first of all, it's the image made into audio. Second of all, the image was a certain length, and I just recorded it out. And when it looped over, it would cut. So, I was basically doing a trick, which I'll demo now if you guys don't know this, which is using sends. So, it's like routing, essentially, but take a track that you want. So, for instance, this audio track really is the one I'm going to use, and I'm going to have to hide this so I can see the settings. But right here is the important thing, the audio from. So we're going to set the audio from to be whichever one we want. For us, it's going to be the middle one, so it'll be this guy, audio number 2. And we're going to do monitor in. Usually it's just off or auto, depending on what the thing is. But now if we play, you can see here, it is doing something. It is sending the audio to this track when I press play. So, I mean, when I'm doing this, I don't hear anything, but that's just the whole sendingness. But essentially what I did originally was I had an audio track, and I took it and I routed it into here, into some other audio track without effects. So I was recording the track with the effects, because the thing that I wanted to do was chuck it from wherever into the simpler, and that's what I did. So this is the full audio track here. If I just solo it, these jumps here, which is what was really interesting to me, was the fact that it's not perfect. It doesn't end perfectly, it doesn't start perfectly. So the loop was a certain length, the image file with the effects on it. And once that file repeated, it would make this spike, this noise here. And I thought that was really interesting. So originally I had all these effects on it. So I have a grain delay right now. Let me turn these off, actually, show you more raw. It sounds pretty bad, but the whole point of this was just to try something I haven't done before and experiment. And then, you get something kind of interesting. You could put vocoder on there. It's kind of weird. So I took this sound originally, and I'm going to remove this and this other one that I don't need. And what I was like doing was I was testing with just doing the full sound and trying to make that sound good. But it was difficult. It didn't sound that good. So instead, I was like, why don't I take this singular part where it makes that jump up noise and try and make that sound good. So if we solo this is just one sound, one key, D3, repeating. Now it has more of a rhythm to it. And then I did another variation. Same exact one, basically a different spot, but just repeating much faster. Which, it's not much. By itself, this is pretty bad. But I was like, okay, I could put both of them on at the same time. And just do that. Okay, brief little interruption there. Okay, anyways, I can put both on at once. Which, still doesn't sound that great. And, that's fine. Because really, this project was not supposed to be fantastic. It was really just me doing a thing. So, anyways, this headphone wire is being annoying. I'll fix it. Anyways, what I did after that was I was just trying with some things I don't normally do. So here I have this Atom kit, which sounds cool. And I was like, this is kind of an interesting concept with the spaces. So the Atom kit just has this. One thing I've learned a bunch is that you gotta figure out how to deal with repetition, because with every song there's repetition, but you want to, do it to a certain level, and okay. So you want to do repetition, but not too much. So you want to vary it after a certain amount of time. You could do 4 bars. That's kind of what I typically do, 4 or 2, something along those lines. I'm typically, what I'll do is something let me show you, which is something I gotta stop doing because it's not the greatest thing. But I'm prone to do something where I have a sound like this that'll play 4 times. Doesn't really matter what the sound is. And then I'll have another sound down here that'll just come in, and then there'll be this one, and then I do another sound down here, that's a different thing, and I don't vary it enough. Also, I'm a little prone to not use, splashes and risers and whatever, which a splash, I think is the right word for it. It's kind of just it's a transition-y thing. It could be something that is a whoosh or, wind-based thing. But in any case, I have this drum pattern, and then I'm putting this on top. Well, I'm testing this currently because it doesn't sound that good, but gotta make sure. It's interesting. It's something different, which is kind of what I was going for. And then I have this sound, which, again, this is not a finished track at all. This is just an idea I came up with yesterday, basically. Which, at 160 BPM, so it's very fast. And this, I just placed a bunch of random notes. There was no rhyme or reason to any of this. And I was like, it's interesting. Which, I don't like how it sounds, but I do like the drums. I like each element alone. Because this, I've been bunch of like effects typically for stuff, but like the Atom kit, I didn't put anything on there. It just sounds good already, which is really good. And then I put a little bit of like amp on the synth, just to make it hit a bit more. But in any case, I just wanted to show this project because I felt like it was an interesting thing. But what we're really going to do in here is something new from the top. Well, typically with these things, I sometimes have an idea of how I want to start, but I'm thinking for this, because I should be trying new things and learning, I want to find, I'm going to look this up on my computer actually, so you can see it. It's, what is it? Audio. No, it's, what am I thinking? Audio effects. List. I just want to find like a list of this. Audio effect reference. Yeah, this is kind of what I want. But I just want to like pick one. Stop at a random spot. Resonator. So this is corpus resonator parameters. Corpus. So this is one I've never used before. I don't know much about it, but we're going to try it. Ribbon resonator. Corpus. So, oh, no, I think I have used this every once in a while, but not enough. So I think I'm going to want like a bass sound for this. And we could do like a plugin or something from Serum. Why not? So, like, I don't have my, keyboard plugged in or anything at the moment, which is a bit annoying. But I'm on a computer. I'm on like a computer plugged into a TV, so the cord doesn't really reach onto the couch, and it would be a little weird, anyways. So we're just gonna do this. All right, we have a sound. Sounds pretty bad, but that's fine. Then let's change it to this, add a second oscillator, why not? With these things, how I normally start is very random, because there isn't really rhyme or reason to a lot of things. Of course you can have an idea and start with it, but I like just doing this randomness. That sounds kind of cool. But I don't like that. I think I want to go under here and then go with like EQ. No. Here's what I'm going to do. I like this, except when I do this, the noise is like too low. And then let's do some unison. Why not? Put it close together. Now, if you were to ask me what these things mean, like unison and detune, I could give you a general idea. Like unison, you're just adding more voices, and creates multiple voices for oscillator. And voices are just like you're playing. Honestly, I don't really know what voices are. I'm very new to Serum, but I'm just like trying things. So, okay, so now we have. I hate that. Now we have our sound, and let's just like do this. Cool. We have baseline. We're gonna put corpus on it, and okay. Now let's read a little bit about this effect that simulates the acoustic characteristics of 7 types of resonant objects developed in collaboration, applied at acoustic systems. Okay. Resonator. Types of physically modeled resonant objects. I kind of have the general idea of it. Ready. Anywho. We have this sound. It sounds interesting, but it's a bit ringy and kind of pitchy maybe I tune it down. Interesting. I kind of like that. Too loud. Let's try like kind of just like playing with the settings a bunch and seeing what works and what doesn't work. And I understand some of them. Like the dry and wet is just like it's another form of like parallel processing in a way, because it's just like the dry sound with no effects and then the wet sound. It's like what percent. So now this just sounds like a bass sound, but like a bit long. So what if we did like some and try something? Oh, that's off. I couldn't tell you anything really about, music theory. I need to learn, but I kind of just with these things, I do what, Rick Rubin does. He said that he does things that he likes, and that's exactly what I do. Because, of course, you could follow the book, but the book is boring. So, okay. Now we have some composition. This one is too low, so we'll do something like I kind of like. I like this idea. It's intriguing. Okay, so that, by the way, I just pressed it shift and then the arrow keys, which I'm pretty sure just brings it up a full octave. So. So this is the stage where I don't really know what to talk about because I'm just like experimenting, and that's the fun part. Just do whatever. See what works, see what doesn't work. See now, this sounds like a bell ringing, like a doorbell or something along those lines. I have an idea. I like this sound, but I want to go remove the noise. This filter because I typically don't use the serum filter much. I mean, well, here's another idea. Let's try some simple automation. I did that wrong. Cut off. We could do like less abrupt. Oh. We want weird. No. I guess what I'm doing here is I'm making something that could be like a riser. Make a long. Okay, I'm feeling dark energy. Feeling like to do. I like this. Okay. Interesting. So now let's pretend we're done with that sound. We want to figure out what we want to add next. And I could click around, and find a specific kit that works. But as all music producers know, that's a really hard thing to do, finding the perfect snare. So I just like to take a random kit, create something. It doesn't have to be good, But this is just a way to get my ideas out, to just experiment with whatever and hope it works. I like that. Sounds interesting. Now, if I were to do something like this, I think the drums I would want them to be heavier hitting, so let's do a glue compressor, because that's like an easy way to do that. We're going to do something that I learned about a bit ago that I haven't really done much of. I want MIDI effect? No. I want LFO. This is how you would typically do like ambient music. You use like LFOs and stuff. And of course I'd normally use like VCV rack, but for this song idea, I'm going to modulate the glue compressor. So we're going to map the markup, and I don't want it to be that much. So these two numbers first are the first thing that we're going to look at, which basically just determines in between what numbers. So if it's 100, 100, it will always be max, and if it's 0, 0, it will always be low. I like having the full range, except, we don't want it to blow up our ears, so we're going to set that to 50. It goes to 50%, and we're going to change the rate down. So we want it to be like a slow changing thing. It's going to be slightly change this. There you go. Something simple. Now, another easy thing is put in a hi-hat, and if I like this hi-hat. The simplest thing is I just Command D, and then now we have one of the most simple drum patterns that frankly I should not use as much, but I do, and I enjoy doing it. Then you can even mix it up. So now, one thing I would say, which this is where it's a little more complex, I would like the rate of this guy, which is 4 bars currently, to be similar to this guy. Okay, the rate is at 4, and hopefully that's similar. Except it's starting the other way. No. What is this? Hold. R. There we go. Switch the phase. So that does the opposite. That makes it quiet when the serum is loud. But if we do it this way, okay, actually, we're gonna remove this LFO because I don't like it. I don't really have a good system for making music and stuff. I just kind of like toying around. So what we're going to do now is one of my favorite things to do is not filter delay. I wanted a grain delay. I just put this on everything sometimes and just see what happens. mixed with settings that I don't even know. Now this is kind of funky. By funky, I just mean interesting. And we'll put it again here. We'll just do random and random. Solo, this guy. Okay, so now this guy, we're gonna go here. And we're gonna set it to be. Move this up. It's so loud and bassy. Let's try +2 octaves on these. Pause. Alright, sorry for the pauses. Stuff happens, and I just paused, so it's not actually noise. Anywho. My goal here is just to try stuff, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So what I'm gonna try is switching this up. So now, this is just like I'm throwing effects on there. See what works. It works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And that's fine. So now this, I'm going to lower, back, down. Now I think there's too much filters, so I lower the LFO. Except there's still a lot of filter. There's still a lot of noise happening, so we're gonna throw my own auto filter on there. So that is too much space. Let's remove this guy. I'm just trying little things, seeing what happens. Now I like this. Let's put the drums in. This delay, but I think I'd have to get it right, which is a challenge. I do have an idea though. One of my favorite plugins to use in here is always confusing to find pitch and motion auto pan. Yeah, I like doing this and like putting the rate down low because it kind of like swirls around here. My favorite bass sound, by the way, is the B bass. Well, there's other ones within like plugins and stuff, but bass level, I really like the B bass. It just sounds good. That's a bit loud, so let's go. I like that. And again, that doesn't affect loudness. I just said loud because that was easy to say. But I always love doing this with the B bass. Okay, so now we're getting something. So there's another thing is that there's a lot of people who talk about keybinds, and I should get used to them, but I just don't. At all. Just like don't want to put in the effort, so I kind of just do it in my own backwards way of just writing everything out. Now, what we want is this guy to be longer, thinking, and then duplicate this down. Yes. Do this, and I'm thinking one lower or higher. Let's try this. Okay. Now, this is something I'm going to try. I'm going to try a doubling effect here. I'm just going to put a... Oops. Doing this wrong. Is it control? No. I don't remember. It's one way to do it faster. And that's not what I want to do. I want to go down. Probably should have... Oops. I've gone so far now. What I wanted to do was same exact thing but lower. But I think something with the voices probably. Like I can only do one at a time. I think there's a way to change that. Yes. I'm pretty sure this is it. Well, I don't know if this is working or not. Another thing I realized is it's still a bit loud. So actually there. And then for this guy, we're gonna send this back up. Yeah. Now here, because I don't think this is doing anything, I'm going to delete it. Let's set this to be extended, because I want it to loop kind of at the same time. And this is just a thing. Let's try this. What we're going to do is get this down a little bit and then same exact sound basically, but I've just lowered it down. And what I'm going to do is put the noise back in. This sounds kind of good. Bass. So I like this so far, so I'm going to save it. And by the way, just while I'm on the screen, I've been inside like an Ableton file for the whole entire time, and I've not like taken it out because I've been like, yeah, that totally works. But I'm going to right here, just while I'm here, I create a new folder. Let's just call it Ableton projects. So now I gotta figure out what I want to call this. I have no clue, but I like to think of what it kind of feels like, what it might sound like, and what's coming to mind is it's kind of like nostalgic a little with the bass and maybe a little retro-y-ness. So, and I'm gonna spell nostalgia horribly wrong because I suck at spelling, but there's nostalgia. I know it has like an O or whatever, but I just get the general idea. Okay, so now it's saved because I deemed the project worthy of my time. So now at this stage, I kind of make things a little better sounding. So let's do what I have to do. This sounds kind of good, but let's try stuff. Okay, I like that a lot. So here's the idea. The other one, I made it lower. We're gonna go here. Here's what we're gonna do. I like having multiples just to be sure I know what I like it or not. Set that back to what it was, and here we're gonna mute you. Go to here, and for here, I'm gonna try something a little bit weird, and a little bit random. Like this, I do, but let's do it here. Okay, that sounds cool. So now, let's do down. Wait, no. Okay, so I listened to that, and I repeated it twice in my listening. So we'll do that, and like listen to this. Which I like the sound of, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out, duplicate this, and go down by one. So that middle part filtering out the noise. I'm not filtering this up. We're gonna try lower. That's a little bit better. But what I'm gonna do is I do like these both, but I want one of them to be just the noise so I can change it independently, and another one to be just the sub. So now if we do this, we can edit just the sub. So if we do it like that, let's remove the spectral time, and I like it at 2. I think maybe it's a little fast. So what I'm going to do is, not that, but I'm going to just set it to 2 and see how this sounds in comparison. So what I've determined is that I have too much bass. This one I like, but if I put this one on top of that, it just sounds weird. So we're not going to do that. What we will do is this one, oops. I've learned just by experimenting and doing this bunch is that it's okay to remove stuff. I am prone to use the destructive way of making music, where I delete a lot of things instead of saving it for later, and I think that's totally fine. Works for me, A, and B, it's just like easier in my opinion because I don't have to deal with it, and I like creating stuff anyways, so I'll come back and I'll be like, I want something new, then I'll find something, and it's unlikely that that sound that I deleted was going to be the perfect fit, because usually if I delete a sound it's because it just doesn't work. But in any case, progress. It cut out again. In any case, we have made something, and I'm not gonna say it's good, nor am I gonna say it's bad, but it's something. The mindset I typically have with these things is, if you make something that's not good, that you think is not good, which is the most important thing. The most important thing is your liking said thing. If you think it's not good, that is fine, because what you should do is you should recognize why it's not good. Instead of just like getting rid of it and fully deleting it, you should look at it first and be like, why is this not good? So before I end off this thing, I'm going to do that with you guys, just to show you what it might look like. So if we do this, I like it, but you can hear it's in the red. There's a lot of elements that are very loud. the drums are a little quieter compared to, but there's a few things. The drums combined with this sound fine. But this guy, to make it better, I would like put reverb or something on it. Because right now it's just very flat. It's just a noise, which can work, but in this case I don't think it does. These two. So it's good. But again, I'm just doing a simple riser and like this, so there's not really much format to it. If I really wanted to make this good, I would probably give it some actual composition instead of just repeating notes. But it's all up to what type of song you're making. So now that's worse because it repeats, and then I could go through this whole process. In any case, the point being, I made something I'm not a huge fan of, but I made it. It's interesting. It merits a little bit of thinking about and spending time on. And if I were to do a bunch more work on this, I bet I could get something really, really good out of it. But, originally, it's funny because originally my whole idea was I was going to only use this, but then I got rid of it pretty quickly. But that's the process with these things. You start with something, and you figure out if you like it or not. And if you like it, you continue with it. If you don't, you get rid of it. Process of elimination. So, in any case, I would figure out why this thing doesn't work. And, I've gotten a little bit in depth about that, but I could do more to the best of my ability. And now, what was I going to do? Yeah, well, I guess just like, I would figure out why I don't like it, and then, come back to it another time. Because when you're first, spending time on something and you don't like it, you kind of reach a point where your brain, I think, and this is not actually a true or a factual statement, it's just what I think might be correct, is your brain kind of reaches a stage of destroy, where you're like, I don't like it, I shouldn't continue, I don't even care, whatever, remove it. But if you come back another day, you might find out that you either hate it more or you kind of like it and you want to spend more time on it. Most of my projects I don't finish. I'll give an example of that now. I have all these projects here, and this one was the one I showed. Play that or whatever, and that one I made yesterday. I haven't really done much on two. This one I think was one that I did finish, but it was mostly because I was itching to release something. So this is on my Spotify, by the way, but I have some other set of sounds that work. And then if I go down even further, I have this one, which was going to be synthwave, but I didn't spend much more time on it because I wanted to get to something else. But it's cool. In any case, don't get rid of things immediately. Give it some time. And, if you really want to get rid of it, that's totally fine. It's up to you. And the whole point of this video was just showing my music process, I guess. I don't really know. I kind of had fun doing it, talking about what I'm doing at the same time. But, it's kind of random. And, the audio quality of the mic, pretty bad. That is fine, I'm not going to claim it's the best thing, but, yeah. Hope you guys having a good day. I don't know how to end this. This is going to take a while because I'm going to do a bunch of these, or I won't. Who knows? And, then I'll learn what works and what doesn't work. But this is I guess the start of YouTubing my process, so that in the future I can actually do a real thing instead of just this random thing in my dorm. But yeah, anywho, that's that's going to be it for now. And couldn't tell you anything about when I'm going to do another one, or if, because I was just like, today I'll do this thing. So we'll see if I ever do it again. But yeah, that's going to be it for now.